Namaste. Welcome to first PUC Computer Science video classes, Chapter 1, Computer System. In this chapter, first let us start with introduction to computer system. What is computer system before we know? First, let us understand what is a computer. Why do we need computer? Let me take a general example. Here you can find a juicer. I put oranges into the juicer to get the orange juice. So why I'm using a juicer? A juicer is used to make my work simple and easy. Therefore, I'm using a juicer. Otherwise, I have to put lot of effort. I have to squeeze the oranges using my hand. Instead, I'm using a tool. That tool is the juicer. So here, what I'm inputting into the juicer is the oranges. What is the juicer is going to give me after the processing? Orange juice. Likewise, we require a device that accepts something as the input and process. After the process, give us the required result, expected result. The human invented a computing tool for that purpose, a computer machine for that purpose. He invented the computer for the purpose of calculations, to solve simple and very difficult mathematical calculations. He invented the computer. Now we are using computer without our imagination. Now let us move on to the next slide. There let us understand what is the proper definition of a computer. A computer is an electronic device that can be given instructions to accept data, process it, generate result. Now, there are three important stages in this definition. One is the input, another one is the process, another one is the output. In terms of computer operation, let me explain. Suppose I have a photo. I want to make changes in the photo. What I will do? I will input that photo into the computer using a graphic software. I'm going to make suitable changes in the photo. Then I will get the required photo. So what is my input here? The photo. What I'm doing on that photo? Using a specific software, I'm going to make changes suitably in that photo. The result of that is what is the photo I want at the end. That is the output of the changed photo. That I can see it on the screen or take it a print using a printer device. All these activities we do with the help of instructions. So basically, computer is an electronic device that can be given instructions to accept data, process it, and generate result. My dear students, you can do any kind of work in computer, provided you should be able to enter the data into the computer system. You require a suitable software to process that data and it gives us the result. So one thing is very clear. A computer is an electronic device. It requires instructions to do every type of activity that happens inside the computer. Without the instructions, your computer cannot work on its own. It It is not a thinkable machine. Therefore, every work what we carry out using a computer involves three stages. One is the input, second one is the process, and the third one is the output. What is a computer system? Let us understand now. Is the computer alone can do all these kind of work? Why am I asking this question to you is because a computer system is not just a computer. There are so many other components involved in the process of computer system. Therefore, a computer system is a computer along with additional hardware and software together. Additional hardware and the software together is called a computer system. Now, what is a hardware? A hardware is a physical component of the computer where you can see, you can touch, you can feel, you can sense. Now, on this screen, which are the components you can recognize? There is a printer device connected to the computer that makes the computer system. There is a speaker connected to the computer that makes the computer system. There is a web camera connected to the computer that makes the computer system. We have a mouse, keyboard, a monitor, and the scanner. All these things are connected to a computer that makes the computer system, which is all visible. Something is there which is invisible. Invisible in the sense we can't see, we can't feel, we can't touch, we can't sense it. What is that? That component is called software. A software is a set of programs, and each program is a sequence of instructions. Remember, I said in the previous slide, every activity that we do in computer requires instructions given to the computer. Without those instructions, your computer is incapable of doing any activity. This software is not a physical one. It is intangible. It is invisible. It is instructions given to the computer to do the required task. Hence, the hardware and the software put together makes the computer system. Now let us see how computer can do all these kind of work. How many important units are present in the computer? Let me explain that with this diagram. This diagram is called block diagram of a computer system. In this diagram, you can see there is an input unit connected with the input device. There is an output unit connected by output device, and there is a central processing unit. In short, it is called as CPU. Outside this, there is one more unit called secondary storage device. Let us understand each component, each block and its functionality separately. So this is the block diagram of computer. So the input device is useful to input the data into the computer. Computer processes it, generates the result. That result is what we get through output device. Now, there is one specific unit called CPU. Full form of CPU is Central Processing Unit. What is the function of CPU? The CPU is the brain of the computer that carries out the actual processing in computer system. Without the CPU, the computer is incomplete. Every activity that takes place in the computer system is because of this CPU. It is commonly called as processor, popularly known as microprocessor. The CPU can be placed on one or more microchips called integrated circuits. Dear students, here you are looking the integrated circuits. These integrated circuits makes the CPU. These integrated circuits or ICs are made with a semiconductor material, which is an electronic component, the main component of the computer system. Now, what is the function of a CPU? How CPU functions? All the data what we input through input devices will be stored in the main memory of the computer. What is main memory? What is the function of a main memory? Let us understand that in detail in the coming slides. But in this slide, let us understand the meaning of a memory. Memory is a remembering unit of computer. Whatever the data we enter, it will be stored in the memory of the computer. So, the control unit is going to fetch the required data and the instruction from the main memory. It will decode the instruction into commands. Those commands will be given to ALU. The ALU performs all kind of calculations. That calculated result will produce another data, nothing but the result of the calculation. That result will be stored in the main memory. Let us understand like this. I want to calculate the total of 6 subject marks of a student. Then I will enter 6 subject marks using keyboard. That data will be stored in the main memory. What is the kind of operation I require on these 6 subject marks? I want to perform addition. I'll give instruction to the computer that accept the data, process the data, and give me the result, that is the total. All these things will be given in the form of an instruction to the computer. Those instructions will be stored in the form of a program. That program will be stored in the memory of your computer. Now, the control unit will fetch that information from the memory, understand what kind of instruction is that, and it will give command to arithmetic logic unit ALU, which is the calculating unit. The ALU unit is going to perform the addition of 6 subject marks, the sum of or the total of 6 subject marks. It is going to give me the total marks. That total marks will be again sent to the main memory for storing. This is how your CPU is going to function. Registers. What are registers? The data initially stored in the memory. From the memory, the data will enter into the CPU. CPU should also have some memory to store that data. There is a memory for the CPU, for the use of CPU. That memory is what we call as registers. Register is a CPU's own memory. It stores the data as well as instructions in its local memory called registers. There are different registers. The number of registers are limited. Their storage capacity is also limited. We have different registers for different purposes used by the CPU. That is the program counter, PC in short we call it, instruction register IR, accumulator register AC, memory buffer register MBR, memory address register MAR. These are the different kinds of registers present inside the CPU and stores different kind of data and instructions. The registers are very small in size, limited in numbers, but it is the fastest memory in the computer. The CPU consists of two important units. One is ALU. Full form of ALU is Arithmetic Logic Unit. This ALU is going to do all kinds of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That means all kinds of calculations will be rendered by this unit. The logic unit of the ALU is going to perform the comparisons and it is used for decision making in computer. Any decision we take in computer, through computer, is going to be processed by the logic unit. What kind of decision we can take in computer? Suppose the percentage of a student is above 80%. I wanted to label, I want to award the grade as distinction. If it is above 60%, I want to award the grade as first class to a student performance. Then the logic unit is used to compare the value. Whether my percentage is 80% and above, then print distinction. If my calculated result percentage is above 60% and below 80%, then award the grade as first class. This kind of comparison we do in computer using logic unit of the ALU. That is what we call as decision making process in computer. Then we have control unit. The control unit is said to be the nervous system of computer. In the human body, what is the function of nervous system? It carries all the control signals. Similarly, in CPU, the control unit controls sequential instruction execution, understand the instructions and guides the data flow through memory, ALU and input or output device. Basically, your control unit supervises all the activities that takes place in the CPU. It is going to coordinate, it is going to assist different units, what kind of work, when they have to do, after doing the work, whether that work is completed or not, after the completion, where that result should be moved on, whether that result should be stored in the memory, whether that result should be sent to the monitor. All these kind of instructions from time to time will be given by the control unit. That is the function of a control unit. It is not going to give on its own. All these instructions are given by the user in the form of program. It identifies that instruction, it will decode that instruction into command, and those commands will be sent to different parts of the computer, and those different parts of the computer on the instructions of the control unit is going to perform the it is going to perform the work. That is control unit. After learning the function of CPU, let us move on to input devices. The input devices are used to feed the data into the computer. These devices convert the input data into a digital form that is acceptable by the computer system. Why it cannot understand the data, how we learn, how we write, how we read? Your computer is an electronic device. It cannot understand the language what we use. The language what we use in the computer system is what is called as high level language. The user level language is called high level language. Example of high level language is English or Kannada or Hindi or whatever it is. So that language your computer cannot understand. If the computer must understand your language, then that data should be converted into a digital data. What is digital data? The data which consists of zeros and ones is called digital data. So every data I enter into the computer system will be converted into a digital form. That is the use of this input device. Suppose I type letter A using keyboard, it will be converted into a digital form by that device and it will be entered into the system. Suppose I am recording some sound, the microphone in the computer will convert this sound waves into a digital form, then that digital data will be stored in the memory. If I draw some drawings on the screen, those drawings will be converted into digital form and stored in the memory. That is the purpose of input device. To type letters, commands and instructions, we use the keyboard. To draw images and select options, we use mouse. To scan the coded bars, we use barcode reader. To view in the games, to control the actions, we use the joystick. Like this, there are many devices that are present in computer used as input device. Its main function is to convert the data into digital form. This digital form is the form that your computer understands. Therefore, this form a computer accepts. These devices are useful for such a conversion. Then only your computer can recognize what is that in his own language. That language is called machine level language. There are special keyboards for visually challenged users. Braille keyboards are there. These Braille keyboards are very useful to feed the data into the computer for visually challenged users. We have so many voice recognizing softwares using which it converts our voice into text. One such software is Google Voice Search. Whatever I pronounce, it will going to convert those verbal words into a text. Now we move on to output devices. The output devices receive data from the computer system for display or physical production, etc. Such devices are called output devices. What is the meaning of this? Let us understand. I have entered 6 subject marks. Whether it is stored or not, whether the data or the marks what I have entered is correctly entered or not, if I want to know, I must display that on the screen, for which I use the computer monitor. Now, to enter the data, we use keyboard. The keyboard will convert the user data into a digital form. Then it will be stored in the memory. That means in the memory of the computer, the entered 6 subject marks will be present in the form of digital form. If I take out the digital form data on the screen, I can't understand. Why? Because it is the machine level format. Only machine can understand that data. It is not for the user level. It is meant for the computer. That format I can't understand. I can't read. I cannot recognize it. These output devices are useful in converting the digital form data to user form data. I use monitor. I can get the display of the stored data on the screen. Whenever I see such information using monitor, we call that as a soft copy. The same information, if I take out as print using a printer device, the printouts are called hard copy. So which one is the soft copy device? Your monitor is the soft copy device. Which one is the hard copy device? The printer is the hard copy device. So what is the function of output device? It converts digital information into human understandable form. Why it is required? Why it is necessary? In this slide I have explained clearly. Please understand. We have output device for the visually challenged persons also. We had Braille keyboards for the visually challenged users, and we have monitor, special kind of monitor for the visually challenged person to understand the textual output generated by the computers. What is a printer? Printer is an output device. Printer is a hard copy device. What are the different kinds of printers? We have laser printer, we have inkjet printer, we have a dot matrix printer. Using printer, we can get the printouts. Those printouts are called hard copy. One of the special device nowadays we find as the output device is the 3D printer. It is used to build physical replica of a digital 3D design. It is used in manufacturing industries to create prototype of products, in the medical field for developing body organs. These are the very, very advanced technology devices. In Bangalore itself, there is one building constructed using 3D printer. The future of printing technology is 3D printer. In this slide, let us study the evolution of computer, how computer was developed over a period of time when the computing was started, and what is the present day scenario. In this topic, we are going to study the history of computer and the evolution of different types of computer over a period of time. Let us start the evolution of computer with abacus. Abacus is name of a calculating device. It was present almost 3000 years ago. It was a mechanical device capable of doing simple arithmetic calculations only. There are different versions of different types of abacus. Chinese abacus is there, Russian abacus is there, Japanese abacus is there. And this particular tool is still used in many parts of the world. It is the oldest computing tool. Abacus is the oldest computing tool. A remarkable development happened in the year 1642. Blaise Pascal invented a mechanical calculator known as Pascaline. This particular device was performing addition and subtraction of two numbers and multiplication and division through repeated addition and subtraction method. It is one of the important computing tool in the evolution of computer. Pascaline is the name of this device. It is invented by Blaise Pascal. It is used to perform addition and subtraction of two numbers. Multiplication and division was also performed using repeated addition and repeated subtraction method using this particular device. Then we have Charles Babbage analytical engine or analytic engine. Who is Charles Babbage? The Charles Babbage is called a father of computer. This person is the father of computer. Though he did not invented the present day computer, but his prototype machine had all those units, had the prototype of the design of present day computer. Therefore, he is named as father of computer, Charles Babbage. In 1834, invented analytical engine, a mechanical computing device for inputting, processing, storing, and displaying the output, which is considered to form the basis of modern computers. Hermann Hollerith's tabulating machine is another important kind of computing machine in the evolution of computer. In 1890, this Hermann Hollerith invented a tabulating machine for summarizing the data stored on the punched cards. The punched cards are the first kind of memory. It is considered to be the first step towards programming. This is the greatest contribution by the Hermann Hollerith through tabulating machine. Then Turing machines. The Turing machine was invented by Professor Alan Turing in the year 1937. A general purpose programmable machine that was capable of solving any problem by executing the program stored on the punched cards. Then, in the year 1937, Professor John von Neumann introduced the concept of stored program. In that concept, first time he introduced storing data and the program in the memory. Earlier to this, program was stored separately, data was stored separately. But this person introduced the concept of stored program, nothing but stored program concept. His main invention in the field of evolution of computer is the device EDVAC and the ENIAC, ENIAC. These two computers are invented by John von Neumann. Let us study the John von Neumann architecture. Here you can see the CPU consisting of central processing unit and the memory. There is an input, there is an output. Inside this central processing unit, ALU was present. So here the remarkable development happened is the memory was introduced in the CPU itself. That concept was introduced by the von Neumann architecture. John von Neumann invented two important computers, ENIAC and EDVAC. Among these two, ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, is the first binary programmable computer based on von Neumann architecture. You must remember this. This is very important from the examination point of view also. In the year 1947, another important technological advancement took place. That is, electronic component transistor was invented. These transistors are used in the manufacturing computer in the year 1947. The first transistor-based computer is named as Mark III. Before 1947, the main electronic component was used is vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes are very big in size. They are unreliable components. In fact, the first computer, ENIAC computer, was used approximately 18,000 vacuum tubes. The size of a computer was as big as a room size. When 1947 the transistor was invented, the transistors were used in the manufacturing of computer. These transistors are very small in size. They are highly reliable. Due to the small size of the transistors, the computer size drastically got reduced. You can see the Mark III computer. Of course, for the present day computer, it is very, very huge. But compared to any other computer, this is very, very small. So, in 1947, Mark III was the first transistor-based computer in the evolution of computer. The third generation computer started using ICs. Full form of IC is integrated circuit. It's a silicon chip which contains the entire electronic circuit on a very small area. The size of the computer drastically reduced because of the ICs were used in the manufacturing computer. This was started in the 1970. The 1970 period is called the third generation computer, where IC was the main component of the computers. Then onwards, as and when technological advancement took place, more and more new technology, electronic components were introduced. The ICs were improved with the large scale integrated circuits. In short, we call it as LSI. Large scale integration of electronic circuits allowed integration of complete CPU on a single chip called microprocessor. Remember, microprocessor was introduced during 1970s with the use of large scale integrated circuits. LSI is the short form of large scale integrated circuits. During 1980s, very large scale integrated circuits were introduced. These are the electronic components, that is the microprocessor, very powerful, very fast calculating microprocessors. Around 3 million components were present on a single microchip that made it as a very large scale integrated circuits, VLSI. What is the difference between LSI and VLSI? The main difference is the number of components present in each microprocessor got increased as and when technological development took place. In LSI, we find less number of electronic component than in VLSI. That means more number of components were present in a microprocessor and its size was not increased. In fact, it got reduced smaller and smaller and very smaller. As and when technology got improved, these microprocessor capabilities enhanced, their speed, their performance was increased. At the same time, its size got reduced. The modern day computers uses ULSI. Full form of ULSI is ultra large scale integrated circuits. It is all because of the further advancement in technology has made it possible to manufacture high density of transistors and other electronic components on a single microchip called super large scale integration. In this slide, you can see a chart consists of different kinds of microprocessors and number of transistors present in these microprocessors. Please go through each and every type of microprocessor. Here, the microprocessor started from 4004. What is this 4004? Is the name of the microprocessor. What is the present day microprocessor we see in the present day computer? We see i3 microprocessor, i5 microprocessor, i7 microprocessor. See, from 4004 microprocessor, now we are at core i7 microprocessor. How many transistors are present? You can see here. The transistor was invented in the 1947. You can see here. From then onwards, the more and more transistor components were present in a single microprocessor over a period of time as and when technological advancement took place. The size got reduced from a very big chip to a microchip, a nano chip. Now, in this important machines we are looking at, that is IBM's personal computer that was invented in the year 1981, introduced in the year 1981, the first personal computer. What's the use of this? The computer started revolutionizing the use in the humankind, in the way every walks of human life. The computer was introduced because of these two important types of computers. One is the IBM's PC, introduced in the year 1981, and the Apple's Macintosh machines in the year 1984. Earlier to this, the use of computer was limited to very limited fields. Not everyone was using computer in those days, but when first personal computer was introduced, the computer started entering every walks of human life. Another important development in the evolution of computer is introduction of GUI based operating systems. It was introduced by Microsoft in 1985. It started with Windows 1.01 version. At present, we have Windows 11 operating system. It is based on GUI. Full form of GUI is graphical user interface. Earlier to 1985, Windows 1.01, we had a disk operating system which is CUI based. Full form of CUI is character user interface. What is the difference between CUI and GUI? In the CUI, there was no graphics present. Every activity was rendered by the computer, which was given instruction by the user in the form of characters, in the form of command. In GUI, the graphics rich applications were used, drawings were made very easy. Every activity in computer was graphically operated, graphically rendered applications without using keyboard commands. By selecting icons, the menu options, all the activities was rendered by the computer. This was the main difference. In CUI, commands were typed using keyboard. In GUI, no commands were typed using keyboard. Instead, the commands were present on the window in the form of icons or in the form of menu options. The user using a pointer device just select those things and computer was able to perform the required activity. In 1990, an important development took place, that is introduction of networking concept. What is networking in computer? It is the collection of one or more autonomous computers. In 1990, the networking concept was developed with WWW. Full form of WWW is World Wide Web. It is the network of computers. The networking concept accelerated the usage of computers in large numbers. Computers have become an indispensable part of everyday life. That means everyone started using computer in every activity of the human's life. That is because of introduction to network of computer, WWW, that is internet. Personal computing was made handy by using the laptops, the tablets, the PDAs. Full form of PDA is personal digital assistant, and the smartphones. This all because of technological advancements in the processor miniaturization, very fast memory, faster memory, high-speed data transfer, and the connectivity mechanisms, that is the network connectivity mechanisms. All these things was very helpful in making the personal computing very handy. Handy in the sense we can easily carry these devices from one place to another place. Earlier to laptops and smartphones, we had desktop computers which are stationary, big in size. It was present in one place, not easily carryable from one place to another place. All those disadvantages were there. But by introducing laptops and smartphones, tablets, and PDAs, personal computing was made very, very handy. What are the next wave computing devices? The answer is wearable gadgets. What are wearable gadgets? Take, for example, your smartwatch is a wearable gadget. There are so many wearable gadgets out there, as you can see here on this screen. Okay, one example is smartwatches. Nowadays, the smartwatches are coming with artificial intelligence software, which is a very, very powerful application in the field of computer.